Hey, I am Karl, and this is Big Black Clock.
Podcast 7 now. Do we need to introduce ourselves?
It's not 7, it's podcast 5.
We're episode 5.
Oh, yeah?
We're literally at like 5 it. It's not like episode 70 or it's 5.
Yeah, okay, we don't just use like odd numbers. Eh?
No?
It's actual.
Oh, shit.
We made it. We're at episode 5. And what are we talking about today, guys?
You have $150,000 Canadian, and you need to buy one car and one watch. And
Wait. Didn't even say hi.
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 Introduction didn't never happen.
Oh, hi.
Here you
Introduction.
go. Introduction. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Hello, welcome.
Here you go. This one is a free for all. No introduction. If we're lucky,
right
there's
in.
music.
I mean, it's
Probably
episode
not.
5, right? And we're just running out of ideas.
We just
at this
jump
point.
right in.
Yeah, just jump
Dive
right in.
right in.
Straight to the topic.
So 150K Canadian, one car, one watch, and you try to match the car to watch for some reason for you. at least.
Everything new, right?
Yes. Not me. You.
New-ish. I went new. I did consider a restore. There was a car that I was like, get some vintage restored. We'll talk about it later, which one it was.
The only reason I kind of started looking at different cars too, and the reason I thought that new would be more interesting is because once you go old, there's a lot you can get,
Yeah.
right? Once you start going in the used market. So it's almost basically an equivalent of removing the 150K requirement.
We do the same with, it's the same with watches, I'd say, right?
Yeah. And there's always option list too on your new car, right? So there's still a wide range, but you can spec it.
Right.
At least me, that's what I did. I went with a cheaper car, but I up-spec it to closer to the price I was looking for.
But then at that point, isn't it like a new car if you up-spec it? It's not the same anymore, right?
Well, for example, the car I choose, the paint color is $4,000.
That's obscene.
Excessive.
But the brand I choose, they're really good. Like most car brands nowadays, it's a base price that don't exist. They don't in the parking lot, right? They all are option up.
It's a healthy budget we have, though. I don't think anyone went with base anything.
No, I didn't.
No.
I only had $35,000 worth of options.
Jesus. So which watch did you add to the dashboard?
To the dashboard.
Yeah, is it a tourbillon you added to your Corolla?
No.
Is it integrated or did you just like use Gorilla Tape?
No, but there's still a sport watch in the dash though in that car. We'll talk about it later on.
So shall we do a quick wristwatch check?
Talk about what's going on.
What are you wearing, Dima?
Well, I'm alternating between my 4 watches, right? And I'm just wearing my Vostok Amphibia Neptune that I purchased not too long ago.
And
it's nice. I mean, that's as much as I can say.
Where's the second time zone right now? What time is it?
The thing is that there isn't really as much as this is a GMT. It doesn't really have the GMT functionality.
But there's another time zone.
Well,
what time is it?
Right now, it's showing the same.
Oh, okay.
it's a confirmation. Yeah,
it's because I am very OCD and I like my bezel to be aligned. So for it to be aligned, it has to be the same time zone.
So you're just like it's 10:40.
I like the idea.
What time is it? I'm confirming.
Listen, it's 10:40.
The only reason I don't have it on a different time zone is because we're in the pandemic right now. I can't travel.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So
what about if you had a loved one that like lives with like your grandma or your aunt, for example, in Russia that you want to like see? Oh, what time is it over there?
That makes sense, right? That makes sense.
I do with my brother.
But to be honest, though, I'm so good at like just adding, subtracting that I don't really need. Like I don't need. It's much easier for me to just like, oh, what time is it, and then just add 8 hours. Let's say, right?
None of us are pilots. We could use the function,
right? There's no.
I need a GMT Master 2 because I'm so bad at math.
Like the reason I'm in line to get the GMT Master 2 is not because I want a GMT watch, right? It's because I like that watch. There's no actual need to have anything other than just a phone.
Yeah, exactly. It's an accessory, right? Exactly.
It is.
And our phone is always going to be better at telling the time than our watch.
Very interesting conversation yesterday with the two broke watch snobs there.
Yeah.
About fashion and not fashion, right? At which point, what is that tipping point where a watch becomes a fashion watch? And to be honest, you can make a point that every single watch is a fashion accessory.
I agree. I think
absolutely everything.
I think the term I use, I'd call it a frivolous expense.
Yeah.
There's no point to ever need more than one watch unless it's very particular. There's just no need. A Casio G-Shock would be fine.
Like all the cars I'm pretty sure we choose today too.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We had no choice. But yeah, so my Amphibia, there's not much to say about it. Honestly, it's a very basic watch. The bracelet is probably the worst bracelet I've ever seen. On
Are we?
watch.
So you guys came over. We're gonna have. It's early in the morning. Well, late morning, and we're gonna have some lunch. Probably the pool. Are you gonna take that in the water? Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
To see what happened.
I mean,
Are we
taking
gonna
odds?
survive?
Are we gonna take bets now and like odds and seeds?
it's a screw down crown. Hopefully it works. We'll see. I mean,
Well, yeah.
like I could have brought my Sumo
Yeah,
to test it out, but I was
Yeah,
like,
but
you know
need
what?
that GMT. You need the. You
Yeah,
need
but
to know,
the-
you
the-
need to confirm the time.
The sumo, we all know it's gonna work.
Just work it.
This one, like you said, we can,
roll the.
I mean, it
dice.
should work.
It should work. I
Should
think
It
work.
so.
should. I think maybe.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. The thing is
They're
that if
reputable.
it doesn't work, I don't care.
But they're reputable. They're actually not.
Yeah, sure.
They're apparently
They
very
use
good.
really shitty materials though. Like I've never had a hollow end link bracelet before,
Yeah.
and it speaks cheap. It's just they should have just gone with like a rubber strap. It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't look bad though.
Maybe not from far. Canada is sitting like 3 feet from me, so it's
Yeah.
pretty far.
We're social distance,
Yeah, social distancing.
but it
3 feet in
Maybe
imperial,
it's,
imperial feet. It's 6 feet. Actually,
upon
so
closer inspection, it's not very good. We'll see, but it doesn't look bad.
the winding mechanism is honestly the absolute worst because the regular Vostok Amphibia, I find that when you unscrew it, it falls out a bit far enough
Yeah,
that it doesn't catch the threads when you try to wind.
Right.
When I try to wind,
changes.
it always catches the threads and it starts screwing back on. And I'm like, oh god damn, I have to unscrew it and try it again. So like, as I'm
I had that
winding
issue
this
too.
watch is honestly the worst experience.
Yeah,
What's cool about that watch is after that, all the other watches are really good.
yeah, exactly.
Some.
You got to sleep with some ones to appreciate those fives. You got to bang out some ones to appreciate those five, those sixes.
Man, cool, man. Nice watch.
Because then those nines, they kind of ruin it all for you after. You're like, oh shit. You're like searching for that all the time.
Yeah, I'll go next.
Yeah.
Super easy for me. Once again, my Tudor Heritage Ranger, because it's one of my favorite watch. And when I wear watches, it's most of the time a couple of days at a time. And when I have my Tudor, it's like a week or two at a time. Every time I'm on that
Is it
cycle.
because you forget or you usually get wasted and pass out?
A little bit of A, a little bit of B. But yeah, no, just the watch I have the most wrist time of all my 7 watches.
Nice.
Oh wow, no need to brag there, eh?
You said 4 earlier, so I'm just upping you
it's
right
not
there.
a lot.
And Kevin's going to say, like, I have
No, I don't.
53.
No. They're lying.
Can't count.
Yeah, it's funny. So I'll jump in. I'm wearing, just quickly, and I think it's because also we're going to be hanging out by the pool, wearing a Marathon military navigator
Oh, nice.
pilot quartz. Pretty cool. Mil spec, 41 millimeter. It is 13 millimeter thick, 20 millimeter lug width, fiber shell, so it's super light. Feels almost cheap because it's that light. 100 meter water resistance. Swiss quartz. Also has a GMT bezel. Bidirectional. There you goes. That's a good example where I was saying I use it. I normally just put it on +6 because my brother lives in Europe, so I use that. Not that I actually ever really look at it.
There's like almost no click to it.
There is no click. It's bidirectional. It's not unidirectional, right? So you're not trying to position.
Yeah, there's no ratchet in it.
And most of the time, I would say is because you're not trying to position a timer. So that's why there's no like click. It's more of like you're trying to position a second time zone.
And the 12 indicator is kind of yellowish versus the other indicators, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that one also has tritium. So it's it's radioactive a little bit. Carries the 20-year. 13 year is the.
There's the radioactive logo on the.
That's right. And
It's
oddly,
nuts.
Marathon is having a sale. I just bought another quartz. Automatic, mechanical, 34 millimeter. It's literally called a general purpose watch. It doesn't say U.S. government. It just says Marathon. It's totally subdued and it's 34 millimeters. Sapphire crystal. And I got it for less than 400 Canadian on sale on the
damn.
Marathon site. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
So my story that I want to jump into real quick is that I went a little bit on a selling binge, and I sold my Autodromo. I sold a Bulova. I sold
Which
the 5.6
Bulova did you
watches.
sell?
My E15. No, just a pilot's watch.
Okay.
So it's funny. I sold the Autodromo to a Russian guy
It's already gone.
And he said,
immediately.
I would
God
buy
damn.
your Autodromo.
No, it's funny
for any
because
money.
this guy, I had sold him a Tissot that looked like a Frank Mueller heritage banana. It's literally called.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I sold it,
Yeah.
and this guy bought it. He lives up the street, and he literally sends me, "Hey Kevin," and all I say it in Russian accent.
Here's a bag of money.
But literally
Take
goes, "Hey Kevin, remember me?" And he puts a picture of that T-cell. and he's very, very, you would say stereotypical.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
What?
a little short,
But
big guy
stereotypical
complex.
Russians are never into watches.
He was in flashy ones, so he took that Tissot heritage banana, very Art Deco, and he bought my Autodromo Corsica. Great taste in watches, I'll say it. But he shows up, a little bit short, well built, good looking guy.
What is his
Keeps himself
name?
up, but very, I don't know his name.
The Russian guy.
But the funniest, no sense of humor, super dry. You make any joke and it's just like,
Oh,
That's his way of laughing. Was like,
Oh, you have made a joke. I accept it.
So this is so these pieces are from Hong Kong. No, garbage. This is how he talked. He was very, very funny. So anyway, it's the second time, and he's really into German watches. So he's like, do you have Stoller? Do you have Laco? Do you have? So I kind of went on that selling binge, and that's why this week I was telling you guys, shit, I want every Rolex, I want every this, because I have a nice little healthy amount of money that it gave me. So now I'm kind of on the fence on what I want.
And
to
you
get.
absolutely have to spend it on another watch, right?
Absolutely. Well, that's why I sold those watches to buy another watch,
Which one is that?
and that's what I'm saying.
All of them.
Short list.
Which watch you're buying?
Yes.
You know exactly. You got the new Black Bay. That's great. You have a Rolex Explorer that's in my budget. I have a Submariner if I can get my hands on one.
Yeah.
A GMT Master 2 if I'm willing to. A Cartier Santos. I'm looking at that as well.
Santos Dumont?
Maybe the steel.
It's just
The
that
steel.
little.
Yeah,
It's that crown.
You said the Black Bay. What color scheme you want on your Black Bay?
I would get the blue. The
Navy blue?
the new one, and I'll say why. And this is even, you guys will never notice this because you don't
that's
give a shit.
condescending.
Well, wait, what I tell you,
Unacceptable.
Like, hey, I will say something. You will never know what that is.
really? If I said, hey, did you guys ever notice I have a lot of blue in my wardrobe? Even if you did, you will refuse
Yes.
to acknowledge.
Yes, you never ask. I always pay close attention to stuff in your wardrobe.
But it's exactly. But you know, Kim will say, so Kim's my wife. She'll say, "Oh, the blue is very you because I have a lot of blue, gray, white. That's more my color scheme. You know, there's just so that's why I'd say more than and I'm not the biggest fan of gilt. I would get the Tudor Black Bay if it was black and white indices, but it's the gilt. I'm not.
I like the red and gold, like a
Oh, that-
Qatar edition too.
Yeah, that's nice. That was nice.
absolutely.
That's nice.
Yeah. But
That's nice.
so that's a little bit about. So this week I kind of went on that. So I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm obsessing. I have to put it aside, and then it's very quick to explode because I'm like, okay, I have a budget of this,
then
and if I
just
put
add a
3
bit.
or more, I can finance that.
But
And
then
it's
you
like, oh, but
Put
shit.
a bit more.
I'm like, why don't I get a Yachtmaster, the blue one? And then you're looking at
How do you have sold a Tissot and an Autodromo, and now you have a budget for a
No,
Yachtmaster?
Tissot
It
was
doesn't
last
make any
year. I
sense.
sold all these other ones. Well, the Autodromo was
Something
almost
doesn't add up.
$2,000. The Autodromo was almost $2,000. I sold 7 watches, and all of them were about $500-$600, $700. It gives you a healthy 4, 5, 6 grand, and had some money aside.
For Yachtmaster times 3.
So the Yachtmaster is 14 grand
Canadian.
It has that platinum bezel. And it's a different material in the metal. It's a Rhodesia.
You're becoming
They
like
mix it.
a Bark and Jack, eh? Adrian, just the Rolex fanboy. Just give me all the Rolexes.
Yeah, but then I'm also like, oh, maybe at that price I can get a Chargé de Coute, a dual.
Yeah, but then if you had a little bit
Reverso.
more, you can probably get a basic Saxonia.
Yeah,
And then
Calatrava.
the Calatrava.
The Yachtmaster, do you feel it's a bit too jewelry sometimes?
What?
Jewelry, a little blingy, and you're right. But you know what I like about it? It has that cushion case that my Milgauss has. It doesn't have that those rough edges that the Submariner has. The second thing that I like about it probably, when I get back to the office, because we're obviously working remotely, it would probably fit my day-to-day wardrobe wearing a suit much
All
more than
blue.
a sub. Yeah, it's always blue. All my suits are blue or gray, but blue.
Don't you have to have a yacht there when you buy that watch? Like
It comes
as a
with it.
It's a
prerequisite?
rabbit hole, dude.
It comes with it. At that price, they give you one.
Honestly, I feel like a yacht is like
So-
significantly more expensive, exponentially.
Not for
more.
Rolex.
So I'm going to take a tangent based on that. So how much is a Ferrari? Just say an F40.
F40.
Oh my god, F40 is like a classic.
1.5 to 2.5 million Canadian.
Okay. Let's scale that back. How about
40 is like the
So
classic,
let's say
fantastic.
48, right?
Yeah.
The last mid-engine V8.
Yeah.
So that's $500,000.
$500,000. So
Ferrari
Canadian.
could probably be gotten for like
Canadian.
300, no? Like the some
That's a
some of the most-
Portofino at 300.
fine.
Some of
Okay,
the
so
most basic
Portofino.
version.
That's basic.
A Portofino basic is how much is it? 300.
Canadian, yeah.
So yesterday,
Plus taxes and everything.
yesterday that watch I sent you guys, that Hublot 50 that has 50-day power reserve.
It's LaFerrari, right?
Did I see it? I don't remember
Yeah,
seeing it.
it's the
Check it on
Hublot
Instagram.
LaFerrari edition.
LaFerrari.
And I've seen
Oh,
one in
yeah,
person.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've seen
And
one
it
in
has that
person.
little tool to wind it, but that thing's $345,000.
Yeah,
But that's just
so-
that's yeah.
But I
That's
was like, is that more than that Ferrari you just
but
mentioned?
that LaFerrari, the car was like
Yeah, but that's ridiculous.
3 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So it makes sense. It scales.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, yeah.
That tool is pretty cool, eh?
That watch
To
is
wind it.
ridiculous.
50-day power reserve. That's
And you have to basically
You can stop counting at some point.
you
right?
have to wind it with like a power drill.
well, they're saying to make it easy. Imagine how long you have to wind that thing.
How do you have to carry this thing with you all the time?
No, I think you could do it manually.
At home?
It's just to facilitate because you probably
It's like 2 hours of winding. I mean, it's a lot of days.
Exactly. But I also think I'm sure there's an automatic way. So I think if you just wear it, it'll pick up.
Even if they don't, like, are you always at least 50 day out of your home? Like,
Or 50 days
you're
you're
in
not
prison.
going. But it's
For ransom.
like you say about Bentleys, it's probably not your only watch. So
no,
if,
Bentley's owner, when they buy a Bentley, it's their 20th car in the garage.
so if you're getting this Hublot for $350,000 US that has a 50-day power reserve, it's probably
It's your
not
Honda watch.
Exactly. And so it could sit around probably for 50 days while you're on your yacht.
Okay,
All right.
let's switch subject. I have a quick question for you before we start.
Yeah.
I just want to know from which country your watch and cars are coming from. So, Kevin.
I went with a car from the UK
Okay.
and I went with a Swiss
Okay.
watch.
You, Dimitri.
German car and a Swiss watch.
Same as you. So, do we want to do like one of us? You're in the middle because you have different.
Yeah. That's
yeah,
good.
let's start with the car.
Yep.
Each of us, right?
Yep.
And then we will just.
I actually think you should go because I think
The
I want to
whole-
hear
okay.
the pairing.
Okay.
I want to feel the
That works
connection.
too. That will make
Feel the
sense.
connection. I want to see it penetrate each other.
The thrusting,
The feel
Yes.
it.
Yeah. Yes.
the rubbing,
The rubbing,
Yeah.
the friction,
Touching
and the-
tips.
and finally completion.
Yeah. The docking process.
It's like that scene in Interstellar.
Well, I was thinking of something else there, but
Yeah.
yes, Interstellar. Yeah, that's what it is.
Which, by the way, I just bought a book called The Science of Interstellar.
It's called All Right, All Right, All Right.
But it's The Science of Interstellar because I saw that article about Interstellar, the watches of Hamilton and
Yeah.
the Murph. And then I saw it sitting, the Murph, on a book called The Science of Interstellar. So I went and bought it.
The fourth dimension is I've watched. Speaking of that, I watched Chris Hadfield, the Canadian cosmonaut. I've watched him talk about dissecting the movie, and he mentioned how the black hole sequence was like as realistic as we think. Yeah, as we think it is. The fourth dimension obviously is completely made up because you don't know, right? You don't know exactly what it is. But there's a lot of stuff that's very, very real. They've spent some time.
Oh, yeah, they got consultants and stuff.
But it was ready to do that movie in '99.
Yeah, people were like,
20
no.
years to
Man, I can't wait for his next movie.
Tenant.
Yeah.
Tenant. Landlord and tenant.
It's
a comedy.
Hamilton did another khaki for that movie.
Oh, they did for
Yep.
Tenant. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, nice.
They get commissioned for a few, man. They got Men in Black. They got they were commissioned to do that one, and they came out with a specific interior.
Okay, so let
go.
me
Jump
break
into
the ice with the cars. So German, I went with the Porsche or Porsche, depending on how you want to say it.
Porsche.
Porsche. Well, I think it's Porsche, right? But so it's brand new 718 Cayman GT4.
With a specific paint color that costs
Yes.
$4,000.
Yes. So I have a picture here if you want to see.
I'm gonna look at it.
So what color is that, dude?
That's called Miami Blue. And the thing is, that car base, it's a 113.
Are you, in
Canadian.
Miami Vice?
Miami Blue. And
Dude, you should have taken that Autodromo if it was, that would have been.
wait. So I was looking online, right? And I was looking at cars in stock in Porsche dealers here in the Montreal area. And all the cars, the cheapest one were 140 because of options. Because Porsche are really good at, I'm going to give you a base car with nothing in it, and you spec it up for yourself.
So how much was your car
Base one,
as you set it up, as you chose?
$140,000 in 10.
Oh wow! I'm
Yeah.
curious to hear about your watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I have
okay.
like $10,000 worth of watch after that. So yeah, I took Miami Blue, but because I wanted to spec it up to 140, because all the cars in the region here were 140. There were no $130,000 car at all, right? So I did pretty much 5 options. So there's the Miami Blue, that's $4,000. I took all the contrast stitching in the interior of the car. Same thing with the door handle in yellow.
So it's contrast stitching
Right.
there. Yeah, no.
After that, I went with carbon bucket seat. That's $7,000
Because you need to have carbon buckets.
because it's a GT4, right? It's a GT car.
Yeah,
it's for
it's
track
GT4,
events,
Kevin.
right?
You need-
So
What am
that's
I,
a big
peasant?
thing, right? No,
Yeah.
yes.
What am I, a farmer?
What don't you understand? You need carbon bucket seats
No,
for
but
GT4s.
if you want a cruiser, you don't get a GT.
like
I
a
don't think
PT
so.
Cruiser, like a Chrysler PT Cruiser, do they have carbon bucket
Those were
seats?
the bomb.
Oh my god, guys. Okay, so like I was saying,
Hey, we're just sharing our knowledge of cars.
yeah.
It's on a Dodge Neon, right? The frame.
Yeah, of course, the unibody.
Okay. Okay, guys. On that note, bucket seats because you don't want a comfort seat. When you have a GT cars, it's you technically you're going to bring it to the track, so you want just support, right? When you turn left, right, you don't
Yeah,
want to slush everywhere.
That makes sense.
I went with the Sport Chrono. That's a $630 option. So on the dash in the middle, there's the chrono that you can activate with your steering wheel when you're on the track, so you can have a lap timer integrated to your car.
And who makes that chrono?
Porsche, it's not a brand.
Daniel Wellington Chrono.
But if you don't pay that $630, it's a blank. So
But I don't think Daniel Wellington even has a chrono. Just so you
no, they don't. No, they don't. I'm pretty sure.
But Porsche makes watches.
They have a lot of different NATO straps, though.
yeah, Porsche design.
Porsche design.
Yeah.
They have some.
And they do building too.
They have split sec. They have a flyback chronographs. They're not bad.
Yeah. And the last thing I got was the PCCB, so the Porsche Ceramic Carbon Brakes. So it's an upgrade, right? It's you go with carbon ceramic brakes. It's mostly for track stuff. It's really not for the street. But a good thing with that is it comes on yellow calipers. So you go back with the interior,
You
right?
want the yellow calipers, I agree.
Right.
So for somebody like me who is, let's say, exponentially less knowledgeable about cars than you, why this car?
It's a good overall. There's a lot of space. It's the
For that price, it should be better be.
yeah. It's a 2-seater. It's not a 4-seater. But the thing is, it's a mid-engine, not like the 911. It was a rear engine. So being mid-engine, you still have a trunk. So there's space in the rear and there's space in the front.
Okay.
Too, right.
I had no functionality.
So like, how are you gonna carry your Scott towels you buy at Costco?
When you have that car, you don't go to Costco with that car. But that's not the first car either, right? It's a second car or third car.
What are you gonna get for another $10,000 that's left in your budget?
I don't know,
Bike.
bus pass.
I'll buy a bus pass. And performance-wise, is this car?
So
Does it stand out a lot?
yes, it's in fact so good that even Porsche has to dial it back, so it doesn't have to be better than 911.
So it doesn't go back in time.
Pretty much, right? No,
It's
the
too
thing is, it's the Porsche complex. Nothing can be better than 911.
Same with BMW and the
I mean,
Yeah,
you should be careful when you say those things.
nothing can be better than 911.
911.
Porsche.
the
Like in
Porsche
that
911.
movie,
right?
911, number one.
911, number one.
So the thing is,
2020.
it's smaller, it's lighter, so it's way more nimble. And if you look with any car journalists, they're always like better than GT4 than the GT3, right? GT3 is more rough. This one is a bit more civilized. The only big problem with that is the gearing. So the 1, 2, and 3 shift are really far apart, and it's wrong for that car. But the only reason they did that is so it's not faster than 911 and the 0 to 60.
Nizar.
Right?
It is just.
It's wrong, but like after that, there's the aftermarket coming in. There's Shark Work in California for 20 grand. They're gonna change your transmission for a better.
And then it's better than 911.
Yes, right. But Porsche will never build a car that's better than the 911. But the thing is, 911s are so big now; they're just heavier. It's size, right?
Yeah.
And that Cayman is way more the size of an older 911.
Okay.
So it's like a newer gen, old size car.
It's a great car.
And reliability wise, are they known to be good?
It's the 4-liter flat 6, so it's the last gen 911 engine.
turbo.
No, NA. It's 410 horsepower and 309 feet-pound of torque.
Actually, that's for
But for that size, it's perfect. And
How
it's
much does it weigh? I mean, because, anyways, the car that I pick, right? It's a similar horsepower.
Yep.
But it's definitely not as fast, right?
Yeah, no, it's. I think yours is a 4-door too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours is doors?
You guys are getting paid?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I know why Kevin's saying that. I can't wait for his cars.
Oh.
So
His car. Do you have a roof? What if it rains?
Somewhat.
somewhat.
I'll say why.
kinda. I mean, there's-
comparison to
There is room for an umbrella. You can just bring an umbrella with you.
Yeah.
Hard
So
to stick shift though. As you're
So yeah, I think that's a good overall sports car. That's when I bought it. Bought it.
nice.
And to go with that, I took a Tag, but the new 160 years special edition Montreal,
Ooh.
and it's the
describe
same
this.
kind of blue, kind of yellow.
What's
Team.
the reference number?
I don't know if I took the
Doesn't it
reference numbers.
look to you very similar to an El Primero?
Yeah, it does have an El Primero feel.
Even
Not the
even
tricolor,
comes with the
not the
same like a
tricolor.
blue crocodile strap.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because I am crushing on that watch lately, and it just was fitting with the Miami blue yellow stitching.
What's special about the watch?
It's limited to 1,000 piece because it's their 160 years anniversary, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a mix between the Carrera and the original Montreal,
Okay.
right?
No, it's a beautiful watch. What's the spec?
It's 39 millimeters. It's 100 meter water resistant. It's the Tag Heuer caliber hour 02. And it's 80 hour.
That's a lot of hours for such a small case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
In general, is it a manual winding?
automatic.
Oh wow!
You
Yeah.
can manually wind it, I think.
Yeah, probably
I mean,
both, right?
that's a pretty impressive spec list, though. For,
And it's $9,000 Canadian.
If you can find one.
If you can get it. It's like Rolex. If you can get one, right?
So it has that 70s look. Very nice.
Yeah, so it just fit like the watch I would wear with that car. Same blue, same yellow team. Tag always been close to Porsche and motorsport too, right?
So the reference is a CBK 221C. So that's what you want to be able to, if you're interested, guys, to look it up.
Yeah, if you
nice
can
watch.
get one.
yeah.
But yeah, stainless steel, and the blue alligator strap, like Dmitri said a bit earlier. But you can always change those
people
if you
who,
want.
No, but
To
it looks very
describe
good. It looks very good with it.
It's
You're
for me.
looking at
It's
a white opaline dial. You got some the sub counters or the sub registers. They're all in blue. There's some yellow markings on them. The second hand to the chrono is red. It doesn't read Tag on it. It says Carrera with a Heuer, so it's one of those more authentic. I think more authentic. There's no bezel to this one. Rhodium plated hours, minute hands, and that red lacquered seconds track. Yeah.
Very impressive, and a nice
30
looking decorated exhibition case there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In-house, 80 power reserve, 33 joules. But what's interesting, I think about this chrono, if I'm not mistaken, it's a vertical clutch, which is also very, it's just I'll say more resounding technology when it comes to chronographs. Won't get into that, but it's a good chrono. Yeah, it's a good watch.
How thick is it? Because usually I found that the Tag, or specifically Heuer chronographs, they're quite thick watches,
Yeah,
right? They're like 13, 14 millimeters.
the movement is 6.95 millimeters.
Yeah.
So it's a 7 millimeter movement. So I'm guessing it's a good 10 to 14, right?
That's I mean, that's a nice looking watch.
But yeah, overall, I just thought, if I do something right in life and I have 150K to burn in a car and a watch, that could
Much
be a
is your
good.
car. So.
That could be a good pair, right? And when I think of a Porsche owner, most of them, if not all of them, are big Tag enthusiasts.
Tag has a long history of automobile. Look, one of my shortlist watches is a Caliber 11. It's the price of a Rolex
Steve
Explorer.
McQueen.
Yeah, but that's a nice watch, and that's an icon. And
It's gorgeous.
it's on my short list, and I've loved it for many years.
Yeah, beautiful
many
watch.
years I've been on it, and
Beautiful
I'm just wondering. But Caliber 12 is nice.
No, you gotta go with the 11.
Exactly, I agree. And I would probably go with the 11, maybe with the Golf. The Golf, inspired-
Golf livery,
the
right?
Golf, yeah.
Yeah. And after that, you need a Ford GT with the Golf livery.
Yeah, fortunately.
But yeah, guys, so that was my German and Swiss, and I went even with color matching both of them.
Very good.
I want to hear your no door, no
So-
roof, no nothing
My
car.
mindset,
Very excited.
I was like, just the process, really. So I was thinking of, would I choose a car, then a watch? Which would be more insane and unrealistic is if I chose a watch to then pair with a car, because I was like that would never happen. And actually, 150K, even though this is fictional, it's not impossible to say. In my lifetime, if so my approach was to choose a car and then pair it with a watch. And then my budget considerations, I'll be honest, I was thinking, okay, let me go with 60-30, 60-40, because I wanted the watch to have enough of a footprint for this conversation. I didn't just want that, right?
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, I wanted it to be just not something to accompany the car. I wanted to have its own kind of footprint in the conversation. So in the cars, I went with something, I was thinking, okay, I want something enthusiast, something history-driven. I was thinking of a Porsche 917 because... which is millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's a Le Mans winning race car.
Exactly. Then I was like, okay, what if I found a Porsche that was more modern? And then I would say, okay, I would put it with a Heuer Monaco Caliber 11. And then I was looking at a couple of years ago, or the 50th anniversary in 2019, Heuer had this box set with 5 Monacos for like 50 grand. I was like, okay, I'll get 5 Monacos with a modern Porsche.
100K.
Yeah, okay. And I was like, a modern Porsche, but I was like, but then it won't feel like Le Mans anymore. I was like, I needed something that would be more true to the 917, and I found nothing in that price. Then I was thinking through, I was like, I want something fast, and I want something impractical and unique. And impractical is a daily driver. And then I was thinking, okay, let me think of like a Clubman racing, which I always thought was something that was cool. Short races, 15, 30 miles, no refueling, no driver change. And it was like this idea that you could be in a car club and work on your club car. And I found more... Yeah.
It's the accessible motorsport.
That was my idea. I was like, an accessible, low-cost alternative racing where you can develop on your car. And then I was feeling, okay, and I didn't stick to at the beginning that we needed something new. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go with an MGF or a Lotus, something vintage, something old. And then I was on the other side... with something new like Xenos, Jeanette. I was like, okay.
Damn.
I was like,
What is that?
These are
So they started there still are manufacturers of chassis for most race teams, right?
Yeah.
But they did a couple road car, and by road car, there's a big quotation mark here.
parentheses.
Yeah.
Depends where you live.
Yeah, exactly, right? But it's like Lola, right? So Lola GT was the manufacturer of the first Ford GT, right? So the chassis manufacturer, same thing with Brabham in F1, they're chassis manufacturers, right? As the other way of saying that Cosworth and Williams are engine manufacturers.
Right.
So Ginetta is a chassis company, pretty much. They build cars for other people to develop around them.
So I kept going, like, okay, I want something, I think a little bit more older, rustic looking. And I was like, like something.
Etsy.
I was thinking of the Ariel Atom, I'll be honest. The Ariel Atom is crazy, but it's modern. It's sleek.
Mid-engine.
It has this mid-engine. Yeah. So I was like, I want something a little bit more rustic, older looking. And I settled on Caterham. And I went with the Caterham. I really liked before the R500. So they came out with a newer version, the 620R. So people don't know them. They're a British company that have been around for quite a while now. But you were going to say something, Karl?
Yeah, like you're talking about Caterham, right? And we were making fun of my $4,000 paint earlier.
Right.
Caterham, doors are an option.
That's right. I didn't. I have no
Cool.
doors.
I just want to make that. I just want to make that sure. Okay, cool. You can go on your life now.
So, founded 73, direct descendant of the Lotus, the Series 3, right? For about 20 years prior, they launched the Series 1 Lotus 7. I'll call it cheap, fast, fast. This was a great analogy for it. And then Caterham actually got the rights to continue to produce the design in the 70s after Lotus shut down, right? So in the mid-70s, these cars were fitted with Ford Lotus twin cam 1557cc engines, except for one chassis that had a 1962cc, 1962cc, which was the twin cam engine for the Alfa Romeo.
So people don't know their CCs. 1000 cc is 1 liter engine, pretty much, right? So 1500 is 1.5 liter. When they call it in 967 cc's, you're gonna be marketed as 1 liter.
Exactly. So when I was looking at these like really ridiculous, impractical sports car, the Ariel Atom seems to be like the peak of it, right? This is like the super lightweight, affordable sports car. But where I was actually, when I was looking at the Aero Atom, I was turned off by the 4th gen because I think that the 4th gen looks nothing like the older gens. Nothing. It's completely overhauled. Only the pedals and the filler caps remain the same as the past gens.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that, but it's 320 horsepower, 612 kilograms, super sleek, scary fast, modern. But me, and you'll see why in the pick of my watch, I went something a little bit older. So this one, the Aero Atom, even then as well, when I was reading and whatnot, it handles probably better than the Caterham. Larger rear wheels. The engine is in the back, but you have to like the look, and that's where I went with the Caterham. It just looks better to me. It has this elegance to it, a little bit older look, more true. It has heated seats
as an option.
Well, I mean,
a roof of sorts.
When you have no doors, you should have heated seats.
And the personal heater that like every car ever has is still an option in the Caterham. So you can have a hair coming to your feet, but as an option.
Because, I mean, when it's February in Montreal, you should have heated seats.
But you got to take this up for this. It's funny. I was watching Narcos yesterday, and there's just that one line. The guy goes with the plane. He says, "How much can you fly?" He goes, "This many kilos." And he goes, "What if we rip out all the other seats in the carpet?" He goes, "How many more kilos can you fly over?" So anyway.
Yeah, everything is measured in cocaine.
Exactly. But then, so it has the propulsion, front engine, insane torque. I think being narrow, the Caterham is lower, so it should roll less when cornering, although it wants to oversteer everywhere because of the power. Throttling response, it screams. It just seems like a lot more fun, and it's a track car more than a road car.
Is that a all-wheel drive or no?
What? No.
Rear-wheel drive?
Rear-wheel drive, propulsion.
Both of them.
Yeah.
So you're saying Caterham, right?
Yeah.
Did you say which model you want to go with?
I said the 620R. So a lot of people say, in what I was reading it's too much power. It's almost too much. It's too insane. I was reading a website and they were comparing the Caterham cornering the Super Sport. It's like playing ping pong against your mom. And then if you take the 620, you're doing the cornering, it's like playing ping pong against like a Chinese ping pong champion. It's just insane. Like it's just, you're going to be totally out of control. So what are we talking about here? Based on the R500, supercharged. Standard chassis is what I would take. So a little bit different in length, a little bit different in height. Magnesium wheels, lower floor, limited slip differential. Sequential manual transmission, so it'll allow you to not have trouble when you're changing gears. Like you, carbon fiber seats. We're talking about a dash as well, carbon fiber. A quick release steering wheel, Momo.
Easier in and out.
Easier in and out. Inline 4-cylinder, 2 liter, supercharged, 310 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in under 2.8 seconds, which is Vacheron fast. Top speed of 250 kilometers an hour, an absurd 580 brake horsepower ton to power ratio, which is 60 brake horsepower more than the Bugatti Veyron and 20 brake horsepower more than the McLaren F1. It lapped Blyton Park quicker than the 720 brake horsepower Pagani Huayra, 50 to 60,000 pounds. End of conversation.
Man. Yeah, so it's almost $100,000 Canadian.
Yeah. And
it's
all that is because you're basically driving on an engine.
On
There's not much
pocket
other
rocket.
than the engine and the wheels.
I like it in all the options you took.
Yeah.
You didn't take the windshield.
I didn't take the windshield. But and I still have money left over. I can get those goggles with the scarf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what's cool
like
about
an
this,
air pilot from the early 20th century.
the scarf just like wraps around. But what I love this is that it's in looking at the
I
other.
can see Austro-Hungary from my plane.
But all the other super lightweight sports cars that were insane, it has an elegance to it that I don't find the Aero Atom has.
A lot of character, a lot of styling.
It has a lot of character.
And it's like most British cars.
Right.
Styling is the first thing first, right?
But the Aero Atom is British, right?
Yep.
So, and I think they went with super modern, super sleek, which is your thing. But I felt this has a little bit more, to me, soul.
Yeah. So Aero Atom is, I think, the same minding as the Caterham.
Yeah.
The only thing is Caterham, they're sticking with their old school styling. As Aero Atom is like, we're not going to get stuck in a styling. We just want the lightest, fastest car, right? No roof.
Yeah. And most of the things I'm reading, the Aero Atom still kind of takes the the wins. In rain, on slicks, we're still better. We're still better handle, better this. But
Well, you put a front wing on that thing, it's gonna look like an F1 car, right?
Yeah.
It will
Yeah.
probably have the same
Yeah.
downforce, and then you can.
It's nuts.
during the week, you could be driving around in a little SUV, but this is like on the weekend, I'm gonna go rip it up. So what does it match? I still got 50K left for a watch. About.
Yep.
Now for the watch, I'm gonna go a little bit less. I'm in the British car, Insanity in specs, but that has the older style rustic design. Got to keep the hands on the wheel. So I went with a vintage reissue recreation. Vacheron Constantin came out with the vintage American line. So I went with the Historique Américain. Mid-size, 40 millimeter, released in 2008, not as refined. Both were very ornate Art Deco influence of the 20s. And they're for American motorists. The dial, 45 degrees off-center for your viewing pleasure, as I need to have my hands tight on the wheel of the Caterham
To survive.
to survive. So we're talking about 40 by 40, 8 millimeter thick, 18 karat rose gold case, which is neither round or square. Let's call it cushion. The crown placed on the top right corner of the case, Breguet style hands, eggshell dial color, sub-seconds at the 3 o'clock, in-house manual wind, 4400 caliber movement, with a Poisson Geneva hallmark. So what is that? It's a certification of movements that are made in the city, or canton, we say, of Geneva. In 1886, they passed a law for this hallmark, as there were people that were saying that made in Geneva was untrue. Some people were saying made in Geneva versus assembled in.
It's funny you mentioned that because my watch has the Geneva hallmark, and I was going to talk about it as well. But
You can keep going. You can keep going on that. So anyway, it has it. So they passed a law, strict conditions that had to get that certification. All of this with a solid 65-hour power reserve. And when you put it on, it can only scream, grab your keys, let's go for a drive. $40,000. So that puts me, I still have 10 grand to spare to get that scarf and those
The goggles,
goggles
yeah.
And
Goggles.
those life insurance.
and that life insurance that for my pairing.
that
So
hallmark of Geneva,
yeah.
I've looked it up a little bit, right? They originally were basically, it was basically a benchmark among some Swiss companies to determine, to qualify a particular level of craftsmanship for movements,
Right.
right? In 2012, they've changed it to now also apply to the case itself. So
Oh,
when
to
you
the case.
So now when you get that stamp on the
Yeah.
movement, it means that it's met a particular, let's
Criteria.
say, high horology level of craftsmanship for both the movement and the case. And it's about, it's not necessarily about the complexity of the movements. It's about the finish, right? The quality of the finish. And I'll get into that later when I talk about my watch.
Is it location based as well?
Probably like champagne and whiskey, right?
I think it
Yeah.
applies to only because it's the hallmark of Geneva,
Yeah.
right? And it applies, I think, to
Yeah,
the
there's a
watches
certain
out of there.
I think there's amount of work that has to have been done there, and I think that's a
it might be also the reason how the big three companies, well, not all of them are in Geneva, right?
Yeah.
They maybe use that as a way to differentiate themselves from the rest, right? Because that's true high horology. You don't get watches with that mark below a certain price point, right?
There is also a condition if you say made in glacute, right? There's a certain you have to have a certain. You have
It is probably something equivalent,
yeah,
similar to
probably
that, right?
more poussé, like more firm. Let's say more rigid,
More German?
more. no.
No, I mean in
The
terms of more
Geneva.
established, right?
The
More is-
Geneva is probably more. The conditions are probably more difficult to obtain
Yeah.
versus glacute is like you have to have this much of the watch fabricated and made. In
So yeah,
glacute.
you have to put more specification when you're in Geneva, right?
right. But those specs were around for over 100 years, right? I'm sure they've a lot of time to kind of perfect them.
And I think they probably put it in there because people were going in there and saying and doing a little thing and saying, yeah, we're stamping the same they are. And
They also
no,
fake it. They also fake that thing, and it's a fine. There's an actual
it's a law. Yeah.
there's an actual government body that makes sure that if you let's say falsely stamp that
It's
qualification on your watch mechanism,
it's a certification.
you will
right?
get a
But there's
hefty
a
fine.
exactly. You have a. It's they passed the law 1.25 on the voluntary inspection of watches in the canton of Geneva. So if you're there, you want to get that stamp, you got to get inspected.
So, canton, I'm guessing in English, it would be county, right?
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Les cantons de l'Est.
It's like a
I
conglomerate
think
probably of like
we
villages
translate it
around.
here. Les cantons de l'Est as townships.
Yeah,
That's what
because of our British heritage.
maybe.
Like a.
But I'm thinking more like in the
Saguenay.
U.S., right?
right?
Like Orange County in California, right?
Oh wow, the OC.
Yeah.
So many douches.
So,
Those
cool,
are-
man.
that's
Like,
my car.
Your car is insane, and
Ridiculous.
for $40,000 more, you could have a German one with a roof.
Yeah. Well, I wanted a big footprint watch.
Yeah.
And you went with a $9,000. I went with a $40,000 watch, and I thought it also wasn't just I like this watch. I thought it paired well. It has a 45-degree angle on the dial. You have to be holding it, and it has an elegance that I think matches the rustic look of the Caterham, which is
I
also
respect
absurd.
so much your choices.
Thank you.
Oh man,
Thank you
know
very
what?
much.
You know what? It's you blew it out of the park on this one.
Nice. I'm glad that
So,
you liked it. It was a good conversation.
So Dmitri, I think it's your turn now.
You're up next.
Yes. So I quickly looked up what the cantons means. It's basically a qualification. It's kind of an equivalent of a state, only in Switzerland, as I'm seeing. So there are 26 cantons in Switzerland. So the canton of Geneva is just basically a geographical area.
Yeah.
Like
It's
provinces for you,
Yeah,
for us here in Canada, right?
So I mean, obviously there are different sizes.
How
Some of
big
them might
is
be
it?
just.
Do you know how big the canton in Geneva is? Just curious.
It's 2 streets.
Well, actually,
I'm
it
on
has.
first and first.
It's pretty large, right? You if you guys picture Geneva, right? It's on the lake, right? It's
Yep.
at the south tip of the lake. So the canton of Geneva,
Just the tip.
it covers the whole lake and all of the neighboring territories that are on the lake, right?
Okay.
Everywhere around. It contains 45 municipalities. It's a pretty
Oh
large
yeah, that's
area.
pretty big.
Well,
But
it's pretty big.
But to be honest, the 45 municipalities are all villages. The
Right.
population in that canton of Geneva is only 500,000 people.
500,000.
Wow. Yeah,
I'm surprised
that is
because-
still not small.
No, but like
Geneva is 200 of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 500 is not a lot.
No,
but
it's
it
not
is.
big.
Still
It's-
300,000 people
It's
in
considered a small
surrounding.
city, right?
It's not a busy area, though, right?
No, it's not.
So it's just mostly villages,
It's-
I'm sure.
It's
My brother had lived there for about 6 months. Crazy.
it's very small, but it's
Very.
mainly watches and money, right?
He said, "Look, so he has I'm going to take a beer break in a second and go get you guys beers.
Oh, while Dima talk about his choices.
We'll get started. Yeah, but
We'll get
what he was
started.
saying was, people there, like my brother was there, and he was tax free. His salary, and he has friends there that are tax free working for the United Nations, and and they were fine, but I don't know.
Too much money?
People must struggle. No,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not too much, but it's like the people who don't have that.
Yeah, but the thing is, I was reading, right? The average income per person in Switzerland is $500,000 euros.
Yeah, but what's the standard of living? That's the thing. And that's
Average income, it doesn't mean because there's a lot of
was about to
immigrants
say.
that boost it up, right? A lot of people that are just
Yeah.
putting money in there.
the average is interesting. I'd like to see the median.
Median
Number
is, yeah.
to be more telling in terms of how many people are under that number
Median
versus
is
those
probably
above.
a better.
But still, it's
more
not
interesting.
like the closest country
It is, for
after
sure.
that was like 200.
Oh,
No, for sure.
You know,
for sure.
I'd love to live in Monaco. I just
Oh my god! Yes, I would love to live in paradise too, man.
no, but like
I would like to
If
be
you
rich and healthy and
gosh.
good looking and who doesn't?
rich,
It's like-
healthy, good. I got none of that.
I got none of that. I got none of that. It's always
We
better
only
to
have-
be healthy than sick, right?
Yeah, we
Rich
only
than poor.
we only have watches. That's the only thing we have.
Not really. Like
Not
not really.
It's
Not
such
even.
a conceited. It's such a horrible. It's like oh yeah, this happened. At least you got your health. It's oh come on.
So I can
Let me know.
survive this shitty situation. That's what you're telling me right now.
Your health is important, but
So you can enjoy poverty for longer.
God.
Which is great.
Exactly. So what are we drinking today?
I'm having a tequila fresca.
By the way,
Cazadores. I am not Mexican.
for everybody,
I
guys,
am not
this is
Mexican.
11:30 in the morning.
And it's a second drink.
It's a second drink. It's the third drink now.
Third. Oh goddamn.
We just don't want to waste time, right?
Yeah, no. And
I mean,
me
there's a
and
difference. I got up like 7 a.m. today. What time did you get up, Karl?
9.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
So
There's a difference.
is that like, he's worse than you? Is that what
this is more acceptable. This is nearing lunchtime. You're having this for breakfast.
What is that
Yes.
tipping point where you go from it's maybe not acceptable to like, okay, now it's
I think the
acceptable?
tipping point is having the conversation. If you're already discussing the possibility that you're probably there.
Yeah. So
I am single. Nobody's gonna judge me. I can just get wasted at any point of time.
yeah. So me and Dmitri were
I've been always
drinking.
wasted. I drove wasted. I'm kidding.
Me and Dmitri were drinking Stella Artois.
Yeah.
And while I
boys.
chug my beer, I'll let Dima start with his car and watch.
Yes.
All right. So it was very interesting to hear your kind of train of thought there. My train of thought was a bit different, as in I didn't really try to find the most unique and impressive car spec wise. What I wanted to do is that I thought of this way: if somebody gives me 150K Canadian and tells me you have to buy one new car and one new watch, yeah, gunpoint, take the money.
What do you do?
What do you do?
And I try to apply it to real life as much as possible, saying, well, what kind of a car would I want to own and drive every day if this was my car?
So you went,
I went opposite.
yeah, because Kevin went, well, I live in a country where there's a lot of snow. It's cold, so I'll go with no roof, no doors.
And rear-wheel drive.
And rear-wheel drive.
You know,
But also the most ridiculous engine, like
but
put to
here's
power
why.
ratio.
It's because it's fictional. I wanted to probably talk about something I could never allow myself to get.
That's a good point.
Like I said earlier, I respect so much your choice. It's really a car guy
It's very cool.
choice.
Yeah, it's
You hit it out of the park, but I really want to hear Dima's
Yes.
thinking on what he bought.
And the reason I'm giving this intro is because I need to set you up so you understand my thinking of how I chose the
Absolutely.
car.
Why is shitty?
Yeah, why is it cheating? Yeah, just
Lada. Number one.
So I thought, well, okay, so if I have that one car and then that one watch that I will wear everywhere, what would I own, right? And I did think of like, well, I live in Montreal. I would like to kind of have a car that I can use every day, right? And not going too far in any directions. My car of choice
Because
is,
of our traffic, because of our disgusting construction.
this could be a separate podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
I live in downtown Montreal, and they do it the following way. They open up streets to do a 1 week long job, and they do it in 6 months.
So
For the most part, it's just cones and no work.
So for like people, Dmitri lives like primo. So we're talking about like if he lived in
Times Square.
near Times Square, that sort of thing. He lives, I don't know other big cities, but like he's just
I don't
really
know other big cities, just the New York and Montreal. I don't know. Syracuse?
But primo.
No, it's not big.
Primo, but the thing is that, and I was at a comedy show and the guy was making fun. He goes, "This place should be just like cones. This is like it's just orange should be the city colors."
Well, yeah, there's a joke I heard that Montreal has basically one of the largest natural world reserves of orange cones.
So
only
Anyway,
we
so
can
you wanted
export-
a car. You wanted a car for all of this.
Not really.
Not really.
So you live downtown. You don't need that car every day. So what do
No,
you
I
get?
don't need my car, that car every day, but I need that car to do occasional Costco trips. I would like to go skiing once in a while, right? Just a car, just a daily driver. So I'll cut it to the point there. The car that I would choose is the Mercedes C63 AMG. I've looked at the reason why I chose that car. Obviously, is it's a combination of a car and watch, right? I didn't want to go too far on either side, and I have started my research by trying to find a watch, right? And I had to find a watch. And like, hey, what kind of watch can I get so that I can still get a car that I'd really like, right? Because both of them are pretty much equally important to me. At first, I said, look, you know what? 150K, I'm going to try to get myself a Langunzana datograph. And I'm like, yeah, datograph.
So you went the other way. You went watch to car.
Well, I started looking for a watch first, right? And I'm like, you know what? A Langunzana datograph, love that watch so much. I've looked at our watch. He doesn't start below a 120.
Yeah.
So once you add the tax, it's pretty much the whole budget. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work, right? And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can get a Langunzana chronograph, right? Which is a bit less. It's like 85 maybe plus tax and maybe 90K.
So you want to
Canadian.
pair German with German.
Well, but then I'm like, you know what? Why do I need to get something that's like a little bit worse than what I actually want, right?
Right.
So I decided to completely scramble that whole approach and just set a budget for myself and look for a car and choose a car that I know for sure that I wanted to get, and then use the rest of the budget to find the watch, right?
So you went car, then watch.
The Mercedes C63 is pretty easy.
So what specs are you talking about on that?
So our rule was for this exercise is to choose a brand new car.
Yep.
If I had the choice, I would probably not choose the brand new version.
Yeah, for sure.
I would probably choose at least the previous generation of the Mercedes, where they still use a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8.
Yeah. This is a 4-liter turbo, no?
And you know why?
Inner V.
And the reason why I would need that is because the best way to describe it is how Jeremy Clarkson always says in Top Gear, more power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the to me, this is the ultimate fuck you sleeper car.
Yeah.
It looks like a sedan, like a regular sedan that's very decently comfortable to drive. The AMGs are notoriously stiff, right? Also, they're not all-wheel drive like everybody else. They're rear-wheel drive.
Well, the C63 is rear-wheel drive, but as soon as you go E-Class and up, so E-Class, S-Class, they're all-wheel drive.
Different price.
Different pricing.
I was looking at an E-Class.
Yeah. But the thing is, you said that they're literally stiff, right? Yeah. But right now, on the table, you're the softest. I have a GT from Porsche. Yeah, there's a Catheram. It's like there's no suspension on this thing. It's like riding on fucking wooden blocks.
Yes.
You guys are very stiff, right now?
Yes. I'm also a second faster.
I'm pretty soft, yeah.
I have a second faster 0-60 than this C63 AMG.
Yeah, no, for sure. So when you're looking
200 less horsepower, but
let's drive in the winter and see who's going to enjoy it more.
He's going to die. Kevin's going to die with his Catheram.
Look, ping pong Chinese champion. Remember the comparison I said?
Yeah. So just to give you an idea, Kevin, if you even attempt to drive in the winter with no windshield, I have done that once on a ski slope when I forgot.
You drove on a ski slope with the windshield?
When I forgot to put my mask when I started to go downhill at minus 20 Celsius.
Yeah.
You freeze your face. Not a joke.
Instant.
You freeze your face
That's
where
the
it
most
starts.
Russian sentence. You freeze your face.
Yeah, I don't speak
No
like that.
joke.
I'm not the guy who bought
joke.
the Autodromo from you. You freeze your face.
My shirt is Giorgio Armani.
George Armani.
So to go back to your 63, so it's AMG. Is it the S variant or not?
No, mine is mine is a C63 S.
Okay,
version.
cool.
It starts at 85K.
Yep.
503 horsepower.
To be honest, there is not much. I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
There's not much in terms of the packages that you can add. It's not that kind of a car, right? You can just get like a performance package with a screen, whatever, maybe some fancy seats and colors and stuff, whatever.
Different
it's
radio.
Not very important, I think.
No, it's already pretty good standard.
Yeah. The basic thing about that car, and that unfortunately, and I'm not a big fan of it, but I guess everybody's doing it anyways. It's not a 6.2 liter V8. It's not naturally aspirated like they always used to be before. It's a 4.0 bi-turbo.
Yeah.
But it's probably faster. It's 500 horsepower.
4-liter V8
Yeah.
twin turbo.
So the last gen with most German manufacturers, right? So they went all 4-liter or 4.4 if you look at Porsche. Even Audi, now it's a 4-liter too. They all did an inner V setup. Yeah. So normally the intake is in the middle of the V of the V8 and the exhaust is on the side, right? Like the last 6.2 from the chassis code, if you want to know, it's 204. The new gen is 205. And the reason why now they call it inner V, it's because the exhaust is in the middle of the V of the V8 and the intakes are on the sides. So you have two intakes, one exhaust thing, right?
Yeah.
The main reason they do that is to have a shorter exhaust manifold to the turbo.
So the throttle must be like, it just must...
the thing is, it's I think you used to own a Toyota Aristo, Kevin, right? Yeah. It was turbo?
Yeah, 2-way twin turbo.
And it was a lag, right? So you put, and you know that like, okay, now I'm wide open throttle. There's like a second or two that I know that turbo's not kicking in, and after that turbo's in, right?
And you feel it.
With an inner V, that doesn't exist. It's technically a no lag setup. Right. So it drives as a naturally aspirated engine, right? That's why they do inner V now. But to go back to Dmitri saying that you want the last gen better than this one, less parts on an engine is always better. You will always have a better response.
I wanted the previous gen.
Yeah, exactly, right? So yeah, go on.
Yeah.
I love those 4-liter V8s. They're all naturally aspirated. Yeah.
Well, no. They used to put a 6.2.
Yeah, 6.2, and now
6.2
it's
naturally aspirated. Now it's a
4.0.
4.0 bi-turbo.
I remember the older. I think the older M5s were like 5-liter V10s naturally aspirated.
Yeah,
engines.
so the E60.
They also changed that.
Now they're V8s.
Yeah.
That was the other reason why. Like I've been honestly looking at the M4, maybe M3.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily an M3, but M4, right? To compare to the C63.
Inline 6.
See, that M3 is like the flagship.
I think.
The M4 will never be as good as the M3.
Well, it's too new, right?
Yeah.
Because M3 has established itself as a force,
Right.
whereas M4 is relatively new, right?
They're all great. I've
they're
driven an
beautiful
M1.
cars, beautiful
and
cars.
It was a great drive.
The other reason is I drive a little BM right now, so I kind of wanted to switch to something else. But another key reasoning for me to choose that is because I'm super into F1, and Mercedes AMG team has been killing it
For the last
for the
5
last
years.
like 5
Yeah.
years at least, right? They are absolutely destroying all competition, and it's to me that's I just want a Mercedes.
So I can maybe add another layer on your choice and even yours, Kevin, too.
Yeah.
My car, the Porsche GT4, it's not a limited edition, right? They're gonna make as much as they can. So you want to do 1,000 of them a year or 100,000 of them a year if there's customers are gonna sell them. Your Catheram, they're limited by the side of the company, right? And they're never gonna change. But it's forever classic. If you go to your AMG, that generation, it's the last V8 AMG. Next C-Class generation is coming out in 2022. It's going to be a 4-cylinder hybrid.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 4 banger. Is it going to be the engine from the CLA 45 coupled with a 48-volt hybrid system? So just to give you an idea, we all have friends. I don't know if he's a friends, but someone who owns an A-Class, right? In our circle of friends. It's that engine they're going to use at the next AMG.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's a big problem with that for me. It's because another reason why I really want that car is that sound. That sound the
visceral.
engine makes. It is ridiculous. It's like driving a tiger in like a doggy daycare. Like it's ridiculous. It does not belong on the road. It's so loud. It's so obnoxious.
What wasn't that? I saw on Top Gear when he has the Mercedes, the 6-liter V8. And he's driving through the mountains. He was saying the sound is just ridiculous.
So that's the last gen that Dmitri said he won.
Yeah. And even this one is a 4.0, like the 6.2. So I'm not sure, but a lot of manufacturers nowadays, they cheat a little bit by adding the sound engine noise.
So
right,
they're popping sound to the sound system in the car. Yeah. The last people not doing it was Benz with the last 6.2. And
you don't have to.
And Porsche still today. Porsche, what they do is they have a tube from the intake, since it's a mid-engine, and they literally that tube goes to the firewall, so it's a mechanical connection.
The Caterham also doesn't do that.
No, the exhaust is like next to you.
That's my point. They don't even do that. They don't fake
But
those sounds.
yeah, no, you have a good choice because it's going to be the last V8 C-Class ever.
Yeah, I'm just obsessing currently about Mercedes AMG cars in general, and this to me was a very good choice because I can also do everything that I do today, right? It's a car. It could be a daily driver.
Yeah, good.
It's a 5-seater. You have a huge trunk.
So sleeper.
There's
definitely.
all the things going to help you be comfortable on the road.
And holy shit, can you find a better sleeper car than this?
It's hard to beat. Sleeper wise, it's really hard to beat, right?
And I like that. I like
Even
the
E-Class,
non-flashy. I like the non-flashy.
The E-Class AMG. That one.
I like the idea of, and this is me, I like the non-flashy, but if you have to go flashy, go all the way. Like get an ultimate like Batmobile, right? Like just
Or a
I always
Caterham.
thought that the sleeper, because it was so like the Audi RS6.
Yeah.
That one, yeah. It's
Yeah,
like that
the
wagon.
Avant,
I
right?
think it's a little bit more expensive.
It's more
than that,
expensive, yeah. But is that the sleeper look because it's like a wagon, but it's a
Yeah, but not anymore. The new gen RS6 Avant are huge
They're
and
huge.
aggressive and everything, right?
The C63 that I was looking at, I would love to get a station wagon,
yeah, okay.
but they don't make it. Not the C63.
Well, they don't make it for North America.
Oh well,
In Europe, yes.
well, fuck, move to Europe.
Yeah, go.
just do it. Just do it. Just buy a ticket right
so-
now. Go.
So perfect car.
very cheap tickets are very cheap right now.
Yeah,
Well, are they really?
To
Yeah.
travel.
I know someone who went to Belgium recently.
Okay.
So
Skyscanner, yeah, it's cheap.
I understand your car choice. It's a wonderful car. Now we need to know what's the watch. So when you leave that car and you go in, what watch do you wear that people know you have 150 Gs that you burn down?
I was looking at.
Why did you pair that watch with the car?
There's not a. It's not a specific pairing. It's not like a wine and meal type thing. I was kind of looking. What is it that I want to get that I would be very happy that I can also wear like every day and just never get tired of it.
You're so practical. I want to watch a car I could drive every day. I want to watch I could wear every day.
Well, it's just the way I approach this whole exercise. So the watch that I chose,
food is oatmeal, fiber. I love fiber.
My favorite color is plain
Tan.
The watch that I chose,
Yogurt plain. What is this nuts? Blueberries. You must be crazy cowboy. Oh boy. No. Natural for me.
natural, no sugar.
No sugar.
Yeah. So watch.
Take your sugar and leave.
Too flavor.
The watch that I chose is a Vacheron Constantin traditionnel with the guilloche dial. It's the pink gold reference 82172.
It's great to guilloche dial.
It's because I was looking at that watch before, and I really, really love Kevin's choice.
But we synced up, and when I mentioned it, you were fuck you.
Yes,
you know I love that, and I know you love that watch.
I love that watch,
and I didn't take it because you love that watch. I took it because it's a very auto-inspired watch. But would you have taken?
I was struggling. I would have taken it. Yes.
Okay.
I was struggling to find a watch that I wanted to buy as much as that one.
Yeah.
Specifically for this kind of budget, right? That's why I was looking at different watches too, right? I was like, you know what? And again, I approached this from more of a practical side, right? I'm like, you know what? I probably need a watch that I can wear like in the pool and everywhere. So I was first I was looking for more of like a diver style watches. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to get a Rolex because me getting a Mercedes and the Rolex is super douchey.
What did you have on your short list before that VC?
So I entertained an idea of getting a Langenzona chrono. But it was too expensive. Mm-hmm. I wanted to make sure that I'm still able to get the Mercedes CCC3 in my budget and not like get the most basic version. Mm-hmm. Just get the options that you want, right? Mm-hmm. And then I wanted to think maybe I wanted to stick to the big three plus a Langenzona. Mm-hmm. So I was looking at the Calatrava. Mm-hmm. I was looking actually at a nice chronograph. I can't remember the reference number. Patek makes a very, very nice looking chronograph. Mm-hmm. 5172, I believe.
5170, I think even. 70. I think it's 5170.
Well, let's look it up quickly. But again, it's a bit far in terms of it'll take me a little bit.
5170.
70?
This one, yeah.
Okay, this is
this one, Tima?
This one, 51. I don't know what they are, but 5172G. This is the one.
Oh, the 5172. Okay.
Any Patek is good.
Yeah.
But it is.
I like the 5170. The difference is the 5170 has has only indices, while the 5172 that he was talking about, Dmitri, is the one that has the actual Arabic numerals.
Problem is, it's $73,000 US. Right?
That's a problem.
It does not work. So I was like, you know what? I still need to like. That was at first when I was focusing on the car, and I was like, okay, I need to get that. I wanted to get the car that I want, and then I don't have to get the $70,000 watch, right? So
look at the movement, by the way, on the 5170.
I can understand that, right? The car is useful versus the watch is a statement.
This whole thing I approached from a more practical view because I will definitely enjoy the car, a lot more than like I'll spend more time in the car, and then the pleasure I'll get from like driving a car comfortably is higher.
With a roof.
With a roof and doors.
Guys, I'm already in another country right now. My car is so fast. It's ridiculous. Either that or I'm dead. You're dead. Which is another place anyway. Because I can't corner with that fucking thing. Because it was like, oh my God.
So the Vacheron Constantin, I'm going to open it up. I've mentioned the reference already. Why I love that watch.
Do you repeat the reference? So you have I just want to look at it.
The Vacheron Constantin Traditionnel Guilloche dial, reference 82172. And there's a bunch of other numbers there. Did you find it?
Yeah, very sub-second hand. Would you get the gold or you get the silver?
It's a pink dial, pink gold dial.
Pink gold dial, but you get the...
I didn't mention the second part of the reference there. It's slash 30R-9888.
Okay, so this one is...
it's a 38 millimeter And it's an impressive watch.
So 18 karat gold, guys. 5N. So that's a very high quality number. So that guilloche dial is just incredible.
So I
Open exposed case
I
back.
honestly fell in love.
And this is, by the way, sorry to interrupt you. I just want to see a few things. So this, no, just on the spec. So this one, 18 karat gold is the highest amount of gold that you can get before it's just too soft, right? The 24. That's almost pure gold. Pure gold is 24. This is 18. This is the highest you can get.
And I'll be honest, I wasn't even looking at the gold.
Yeah.
The reason I wanted that one specifically is because I wanted to get that guilloche dial.
Oh yeah.
That guilloche dial, guys, for everybody who's listening, it is, look it up. It is manually done.
Handmade, yeah.
It is insane how much work is put. This watch, by the way, like Kevin mentioned before about the Historique Americaine, this watch has the Geneva hallmark seal certification, which basically kind of speaks about the quality of the watch.
Poisson.
It's a 38 millimeter watch.
Yeah.
That is an automatic watch, I believe.
Yeah.
With an 65-hour power reserve, and it is only 7.7 millimeters thick.
Yeah.
It is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely one of the most beautiful watches.
But it's not automatic. I think it's a manual wind. It's manual winding.
Oh yes, it is. Sorry, it is. It is. You're right. Absolutely.
The movement I think is like under 3.
Right.
It's the whole watch is the size of just the movement of my tag.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Exactly. But this is the peak of horology as well.
Yeah, like
you can never no one like even if you look at the finishing of the movement, not only the guilloche dial.
The guilloche dial, Karl, is made by hand.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
this
made
is how
by
you
hand.
get the seal of Geneva.
Yeah.
That's
And if you mess it up,
insane.
you throw everything out.
Yeah, no,
and you have to redo.
It looked like a machine did it.
You know,
Well, they use tools, but it's machine manually. I mean, it's not a guy with a
Knife.
chisel, right?
Yeah.
It's a device they use, which they create all kinds of different guilloche patterns, but it's manual.
It's nuts.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Everything about that watch, and there's a very, very good watch finder video specifically about that watch. I think they talk about I think there's a video with Frédéric Constant. Then it goes to Je l'écoute, master control. Then it goes, hey, what can you do if you add another 15K?
Yeah.
Boom. And then they talk about the Vacheron. And then they say, it is not obvious to you. You don't know why the watch costs that much unless you have a microscope and you start looking at the finishing of every single little piece. They talk about the small seconds hand here. They show the tip of that hand. It's rounded and polished manually. You can only do that with a microscope. It is insane.
Micro lens. And that movement is incredible too. The movement is it has
What's the price of that watch?
18K?
This is about 30K US.
Yeah.
So I still have about $10,000 that I can easily spend on gas for my car.
So you still have $10,000 of free money. Same thing as you, I think, with your combo, right?
Your buyers are buying scarf.
I'm the only one who has like less than $1,000 in my budget.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Well, again, I didn't try to maximize my expense, right?
no,
It's
okay.
just that
I didn't either. Just I decided to choose like a $4,000 paint and $10,000 worth of brakes and $7,000 worth of
some of those
buckets.
options of the Caterham. I can get I have a windshield. I have a windshield in mine.
It's an option.
But no.
Yes, the 620R.
Yeah.
The windshield is
but-
an option.
Yeah, but the option I picked at that price, it has because I picked the one at 50,000 pounds. The one at 40 doesn't have the windshield. I have the windshield in mine, and I have the roll cage.
Roll bar, roll cage.
very important.
Mine, no, sorry, because there's the bar in the back there.
Yep. And because
I
roll
have the one
bar
that
and
I have
roll
the one that
cage
comes up a
goes
little
forward.
bit. Yeah, mine. I have the roll cage that goes a little
Okay.
bit forward over.
Very
It doesn't
important
go all
for
the
the
way,
race
but
day.
it just comes up just in case, which I'll need.
Of course, yes, for sure.
So immediately.
because you'll be crashing a lot.
Yeah, because the thing is, you have to understand that car
Crashing a lot.
Speaking of
only
that,
once.
this is how you should spend your extra money
Life insurance
for repair. Just get a very good insurance.
Very good insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, man. So
With that company that insures Beyonce's fucking lungs and
Lungs, yeah.
No,
Beyonce.
lungs are vocal cords or Celine Dion's. Celine
But
Dion's vocal cords are
For all of those
insured.
women, it's all of their butts.
okay, man. So we had two Vacheron
2 VCs, yes.
Yeah, 2 Vacheron. We had 1 AMG.
2 German cars.
2 German
with a
cars. 1
Porsche,
AMG, 1 Porsche. Or Porsche, depending on how you want to say it.
1 small plain
One small
toy.
little English go-kart.
Exactly.
Yeah. 1 dead trap.
I'm gonna buy a lot of bananas and throw it at people, like I'm in Mario Kart.
You can get a lot of bananas. Don't buy them all at once because they will go bad before you can throw them, right?
And turtles.
Space it out.
There's a strategy behind it. It's very logical, eh? Very
Yeah,
logical.
and you stop at like pet stores and get turtles.
turtles,
Not turtle shells, turtles.
and throw them at people.
Yeah.
Turtles, yeah, get turtles. Get like those crazy sea turtles, but they're heavy. No, don't get.
Yeah,
don't
the
get that.
snappers one, right? The big ones.
And dress up
Well,
like
snappers are like a gator turtles. They're pretty. I like
dress
gator
up like a
turtles.
mushroom.
Oh my god. Anyway, guys, on that we'll continue drinking, and I hope we bored you to death.
Yeah, thanks
And,
for tuning in. We're gonna do.
Maybe one more.
We'll be back next week if we make it, right?
Yeah.
If we're alive next week, we'll have a new episode. So on that, I hope we'll see you around, and bye.
Peace.
Bye.